And there goes the camera cutting out again just for no reason. Alright, so let me start over. We are starting to do the backsplash tile on the stove side, and I am going to use this little board here as a straight edge between the two countertops behind the stove so that I can tile across that. Then I can only come up to around this area here because I do not have a microwave yet, so I will tile up to it but not into where the microwave would be. This here is my center line, so I'm going to start in the center and then I will have equal cutoffs at each end, and that's just the way I like to do tile, is to have things centered and equal on the edges. Okay, and we've got our marks here for the rounded tile edge here, so that's going to look pretty cute, pretty sharp. And what else we got? Okay, so I am going to just put the camera on half-second exposure or half-second time delay and just do a time lapse. Okay, we are going to start in the center, as I said. So I am going to, I've had my mud in the pan sitting for a little while, slaking, and that is just it kind of does a chemical thing in there while you are waiting. And once it's done that, then you stir it up again and you're ready to go. So I have made a mark in the center of that first tile on the right that I put in there, and the we are going directly up. That first tile is centered on the center line that I put in there before, and then I'm using 1/8 inch wedge spacers. A regular 1/8 inch spacer I felt makes the gap too big, and so I went to the wedge spacer to tighten up the gaps a little bit. And you see that I put a wedge under every corner, and that way I am ensured that things are going to be level. And then I also put another wedge right in the center where the gap is, and that holds a vertical wedge so that I can get the gap between tiles correct too. So right now I am getting some tape down on the countertops, just kind of helps keep things a little bit cleaner and don't have the mortar mess that I would have otherwise. So I'm going to mix up or apply some more mortar to the wall. And you see that I am only mortaring up a certain distance in that center wall there where the microwave is, because I can only go up 2 more courses, and after that I need to install the microwave to finish the rest of the tile. And it's only going to be a little piece up top there too, because the standard height of a microwave is 16 and 5/16 inches, and I have 16 and 5/8 inches, so I've got an extra 5/16 of an inch to play with. And I may not even put a tile there because it's just that tight. Okay, so we are going to keep on doing tile here. You see that board I have across there between the two countertops, and that is where the stove slides in, and you want to have a good level board going across between those countertops so that you can tile in that area and have a nice level row. Everything is about keeping it level and straight, because once you start getting anything going crooked on you, then it will begin to get worse as you go farther along. It's called telegraphing, and as you proceed, things can tend to get worse and worse and worse until they're just so far out of control you have to stop and start taking tile back up. And so fortunately on smaller areas like this, like a countertop, it rarely ever happens. You have to really mess up to start getting a telegraphing problem. Okay, so that is the last course of tile going up where the microwave oven is going to be. And I'm putting all my spacers in there. I'm very diligent about making sure I get all the spacers in there. And then I look at every row and make sure everything is flat and straight. All my vertical lines are lined up properly. You just really got to keep an eye on things, because you can miss something and you can have a lot of work put into it and then find out that, oh no, I have to take it apart and redo it because I messed up. So tile can be unforgiving that way. So you see I'm putting in the corner edge piece there, that little piece, and basically you can measure the total distance between the last tile and the gap to the wall, and then subtract about 5/16 of an inch, and that way you know that you will have your 1/8 inch gap between the tiles and at least an 1/8 inch or 3/16 inch gap against the wall. And sometimes walls have slope to it, so you could if you cut it too tight, then the slope of the wall is going to prevent you from getting one end of the tile to go in position. So it's okay to go with a little bit wider of a gap on this, because we're going to be doing the side wall there to the left, and those tiles will die into that back wall and cover up any wide gaps that you might have. But you can see my gaps are all pretty straight and consistent. That's another thing too that I would point out, is when you are tiling, you want to do the back wall first and then do your side walls if you're going to do side walls. And the reason for that is, if you do the back wall first and then the side walls, you always look at the side walls from a steep angle. You're looking straight down along the side wall onto the back wall, but you're never or rarely ever looking at the back wall over towards the side wall. And so the advantage of that is that the gap on the side wall hides the gap on the back wall, and then because you're always at a steep angle to the side wall, you can never really see any inconsistencies on that side wall. Grout covers things very nicely. If you have a little bit of a wide gap or something funny going on, grout does an amazing job of hiding things. So you see I have my accent row up there now. It's a 12 inch by 1 inch black jolly is what they call them, jolly tile. And so it's a half inch by 12 inches, and it just it makes a nice accent strip. You'll see how it looks at the end of the video when I show you the finished area in this corner here. I still have the rest of the kitchen to do after this, but the view of this corner is really nice. So you see I am putting some bullnose on the edge, and I'm doing that first so that I get a nice straight line and a consistent gap 1/4 of an inch in from the edge. That wall has a metal sheetrock corner on it, and so I'm going to set the tiles back about 1/4 of an inch, and it'll have a little bit of a grout line there. You can kind of see it right there. And I used the angle square, framing square, to make sure that all those tiles are perfectly straight and at a right angle 90 degrees to the countertop, and that way the tiles are following the countertop, and so when they get to the bullnose tiles on the side there, they will meet it at a perfect 90 degrees, and all the lines will be sharp right angles. There won't be any angles involved. So I just made myself up another piece of cardboard. Cardboard is your friend. You want to lay that or a canvas tarp or something soft over the countertop so that you're not moving things around on that grit and scratching up your nice new countertops. Okay, so I have marked out the center there, and the center is from the tile that is on the back wall there over to the bullnose tile, and it's the area in between the back wall and the bullnose, and so we find the center of that, and then we tile up from there. And so you see I have a little bit of a cut on the tile on this side and an almost equal cut on the tile going against the back wall on the other side. So I'm making sure that everything gets spacers in there, and making sure that all my lines are straight and matching. Everything's flat, all the gaps are equal. You just want to kind of take your time and make sure that you're doing things right. Always be looking for if anything unusual is going on. But I enjoy doing tile. It's kind of like a puzzle, but it's also just kind of a relaxing thing to do, because it's not really that difficult, and it's kind of cool to watch it as you go, because you know you're going to have something neat when you're done. So now I am measuring around that electrical outlet, and that outlet, if you pay attention real close, you're going to see me get a screw gun and screw it outward, and that is a depth adjustable outlet box. And I like to use those whenever I can, because especially in kitchens, you can back out the box. See, I just backed it out right there, and you can and then your box is at the perfect depth for tile. You don't need to get a box extension or anything to make up for the depth of the tile. And personally, around electrical, I'm not really worried about the electrical and the tile and getting a extension for the electrical box, because it's tile, it's stone, rock, it's not going to burn. The grout, it's concrete, it's not going to burn. So it just I just don't really have a concern about that thing. But if you want to do it, you can get the box extenders and put those in around your electrical devices, and if it makes you feel better, go for it. Now, there are situations where you have an electrical box and there are gaps and holes that are exposed to behind the wall, and on those you definitely want to get a electrical box extender. On these ones here, though, all the boxes are flush out to the sheetrock, so there's just nowhere for any sparks or flame to go. It's all hitting non-combustible materials. Okay, so that is the last row of tile on the sidewall, but you see what I mean about having the sidewall die into the back wall. It covers up the gap at the edge of the back wall, and then because you're looking at the sidewall from an angle, it doesn't really show what is going on with your gaps and spacing on the sidewall where it meets the back wall. So if you do the back wall first and then the sidewalls, it's a little more forgiving for you. Okay, I'm measuring and cutting the last two short edge tiles. I do have one more course of tile after this, but first I have to put up another row of the black Jolly accent tile. So I'm going to do that right now in a second. And the way that I apply those, right now I'm kind of thinking about how I want to do this. Do I want to center it, or do I want do something else, and what I decided was to just start with a full one out at the bull nose and then go towards the inside wall and just let it die there. So when I am mudding up the jolly, I use the trowel, and it's kind of like putting peanut butter on a stalk of celery. You have to be kind of careful with it, and you want to mount it up just a little bit on the back of it. I tried putting some mortar on the wall, but it didn't really catch it very well, and that, I think, is the next tile. You'll see me, I'm trying to put mortar on the wall with a little trowel, and then I'm going to put the jolly up there, and you're going to see that I'm working with it. I don't like it. I'm going to take it off, and I am going to put mud on it the way I did the others. I haven't taken it down just yet, but I will. Trust me, I'm still messing with it. Or maybe I already did and I missed it. It's a time-lapse video, one picture every half second, so a lot can happen real fast. So there goes the last course for tonight. There's about a 1-inch space above this course, so I need to cut all those tomorrow and place them, and then place tile up behind the countertop lighting. And but I stopped cutting tile because it was about 8 o'clock and getting dark, and I didn't want to bother the neighbors. But yeah, so this is coming along really nice. I wish I'd have done this 35, 40 years ago when I first bought the house back in, what was it, 86? It was a good house. I really liked living there, but it's, things are moving on, and it's getting a nice remodel, and then I'm selling it and moving on, doing my retirement and travel and doing other things all the things that retired people like to do. Of course, I'm not really going to be retired. I'm still going to be doing other projects. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the time-lapse video, and here goes the finished view of the tile job. Tile backsplash looks like. So I just have to finish a little bit across the top here and there. Then I have to continue on around the room over here, but you see what the other backsplash used to look like and what it looks like now. So, which one do you think is better? I think it's obvious. I like the tile. And that's what it used to look like over there. Just had a oak backsplash and green paint. Now we have granite countertop and white subway tile with a black accent strip. Then I'm going to put a microwave in there too, so that's as close as I dare tile. It's at 16 5/8 down from the top, and microwaves, the common size for them is 16 5/16. So I have about 5/16 of room in there to play. And then I also have to do a little bit extra work around the alarm panel so that the alarm cover door will be able to open. You can't have it open on the tile because then it will hinge bind on the tile. So, but yeah, anyway, this is very cool. I am really, really liking how things are turning out here. I don't know why my video is kind of shaky though. Maybe I've just dropped this little phone too many times. Okay, so that is the tiling update, and I will see you on the next video. Don't forget to like and leave a comment if you want, and subscribe. I would appreciate the support. All right, see you on the next video.
Okay, buddy.
Oh, what a ferocious, oh my goodness.